Now, this may seem like a weird topic at first glance due to the amount of exposure and attention given to Wonder Woman's character via the DCEU, but you'd be surprised at the lack of Wonder Woman content in certain areas like animation and gaming. Many average folk may know about the major players that comprise the supporting cast or rogues for Superman or Batman-esque characters in the Bat family in Gotham, but not many adaptations delve into the Wonder Woman mythos with her vast roster of villains and side characters. For those specifically who have not read Wonder Woman comics and are only familiar with her outside the source material, how many of these Wonder Woman villains can you name? Chances are you probably couldn't even name half of them, or rather some of her side characters and supporting cast. When it comes to Batman or Superman, they've had so many adaptations with the same beats that the common person can name many of their rogues or, supporting cast off the top of their head. But even with Wonder Woman's exposure in DC animation, for example, not much emphasis is given to her villains and sidekicks like the Wonder Girls. The only notable appearance of Cassie Sandsmark as Wonder Girl, for example, is Young Justice, but she's not given a whole lot of screen time. Yara Flor is a bit of a more recent addition to the Wonder Woman mythos, so it makes sense as to why she hasn't really been adapted into anything. The only noteworthy appearance of Donna Troy is in that garbage Titans show in which she dies by electrocution.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Even in the comics, writers have a problem of writing the character of Wonder Woman consistently, as well-known DC Comics writer Gail Simone stated how one of the biggest problems with Wonder Woman is every new writer comes in with what they think is a hot take, a take that's going to get her massive acceptance. And sometimes in our arrogance, we don't address what came before. Some writers don't even read the stories that came before when they take over the book. So every 3 years or so, it's a new Diana. The characters don't carry over. So it's almost impossible to create new villains for her because it's a guarantee the next writers won't use any of what we've built. It's frustrating and it gets under my skin to this day. She pretty much hit the nail on the head with that quote, and it perfectly ties in with how a lot of villains and supporting casts we deem as iconic stem from writers reusing said characters after their introductions, both in comics and other media. A perfect example of this is like the modern Mr. Freeze being popularized, or the character of Harley Quinn making an impact after the success of Batman the Animated Series. Wonder Woman had her famous 70s show, but it didn't popularize many of her rogues gallery or supporting cast. For all that is holy, for the love of God, Monolith, please cook with this Wonder Woman game. We need a win in the DC gaming department for once. WB Games has been 0 for 2 for modern major AAA DC games post Arkham Knight with Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Killer Justice League. And it's pretty insane how Wonder Woman, being a member of DC's Trinity, has never gotten her own video game. Not even like an old retro game or a title made for older generations of consoles. Just straight up nothing. In the case of Monolith's Wonder Woman game, we haven't heard a peep about it since it was initially announced in the Game Awards December 2021. There's a lot riding on the success of this game, and not only could this be one of the only few decent DC games in recent years, it also needs to prove that you don't need a connection to Batman Arkham in order to get the attention of fans, and to showcase to WB that the real money makers come from well-crafted single-player experiences and not crappy live service nonsense. These folk at WB are so idiotic, they took what was the highest selling game of 2023, Hogwarts Legacy, a single-player open-world RPG set in the Harry Potter universe, and said, how can we do that, but with a live service elements instead of just continuing with prioritizing single-player narrative-driven experiences?
You niggas is just retarded.
Mind you, they said all of this even after acknowledging how Suicide Squad Killer Justice League fell short of their expectations. The only major game appearances involving Wonder Woman in a significant way were the Injustice games, in which she is arguably the most evil and sinister character in that entire universe. Then there's the Suicide Squad game, where she is the only member of the Justice League not corrupted by Brainiac's mind control, and is the only member to be given a proper send-off with her sacrifice in fighting evil Superman. But when you think about it for more than 10 seconds, then you realize she also suffers the same fate as the rest of the league by being an utter moron, as for 3 weeks straight since Brainiac invaded, she doesn't decide to do any of the major things done in the main game, like fighting corrupted members of the league, to try to figure out how to stop Brainiac with her lasso, or going to Batman's vault, which housed contingency plans to incapacitate the league, or how in the beginning of the game she's just sitting around the watchtower as the game's events go on. Like 3 weeks went by for her to finally do stuff like that. I think a Wonder Woman solo game would be a really good medium to showcase her intricate lore and the different ways to implement gameplay mechanics like her invisible jet for fast travel, her lasso and sword, and shield for combat moves and skill tree upgrades. Her tiara can be used as a projectile. Maybe the lasso of truth could be the equivalent to interrogating thugs in the Arkham games to gain more information. I guess the best assumption for how the game will operate will be like the Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor games, as that It's what Monolith is known for, and we know the Wonder Woman game will also feature the Nemesis system. I hope this game does for Wonder Woman what the Arkham games did for Batman, more so in showcasing a good basis of her lore beyond the surface level adaptation in the live action depiction. I don't think Gal Gadot's portrayal of Wonder Woman is complete garbage or anything in the DCEU, but I think we're in the best case scenario with her likely not reprising her role in James Gunn's DCU. I mean, you're recasting freaking Batman and Superman, so it would make no logical sense to keep the actress for Wonder Woman in a pre-established universe that was disjointed and unplanned. It doesn't really matter if you like her portrayal or not. I don't have a hate boner for her or anything, but she's way too tied to the Snyderverse in the DCEU, so putting her next to David Cornsweet's Superman and the DCU Batman would just stick out like a sore thumb. Not recasting her would be completely nonsensical and a detriment to the new universe. Not to mention Diana's character would benefit more from being played by an actress who can actually, you know, act.
Max Lord, you're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger. I need you to give me the stone. What happened to it? Kal-El, no. A chef stolen from shepherds of Cairo and enough champagne to fill the Nile.
She was definitely given the most respect and recognition out of the Trinity because Man of Steel never got a sequel and Ben Affleck never got a solo Batman film. There were even talks of a third Wonder Woman film before James Gunn and Peter Safran took over, but I guess at some point the character would have been done dirty had things gone according to plan when the man they gave keys to DC to temporarily is saying dumb crap like this.
People are always like, well, Batman can't kill, right? So Batman can't kill is canon. And I'm like, okay, well, the first thing I want to do when you say that is I want to see what happens. And they go like, well, don't put him in a situation where he has to kill someone. I'm like, well, that's just like you're protecting your God in a weird way, right? You're making your God irrelevant if he can't be in that situation. He has to now deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, if he does do that, what does that mean?
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Ares in the first film was so sauceless. Like, why is bro's mustache a part of his character design? Not to mention the fight between her and Ares, which made up most of the third act, is by far the weakest aspect of the first Wonder Woman film. And even though the first Wonder Woman film was solid enough, the sequel, Wonder Woman 1984, was hot buns. They did not cook with this movie at all. One of the worst entries in the DCEU, further proving the fact that this was just not the right creative team for the character. Gal Gadot cannot act for her life, and Patty Jenkins just went way too off the deep end when given full creative control to the success of the first film. This is kind of similar to Thor Love and Thunder with how Taika Waititi was given free reign to do whatever since Thor Ragnarok was a success, but ended up creating a dumpster fire in the process. The depictions of Maxwell Lord and Cheetah were just downright horrendous. This was on Kat's level of CGI, and the whole lead of her turning into Cheetah must have been crafted by a 6-year-old or when all of the writers for the movie got drunk one night. Barbara Minerva using the wishing stone to become more confident and cool or whatever, which unironically turns her into the Cheetah persona.
I'm feeling generous.
I don't want to be like anyone anymore. I want to be number one, an apex predator.
One of the most formidable adversaries for Wonder Woman, imbued with the powers of a god and proven to be her arch nemesis in the comics, has been delegated to whatever this is. I'll give them props on delving into Diana's compassion throughout the universe and her being more of an advocate for peace, but yeah, that version's gotta go. The new DCU, I think, is starting off in a good spot with the Wonder Woman mythos with Paradise Lost TV show centering around Themyscira before Diana's birth. Ditch the idea of her being Zeus's daughter and introduce the character with the clay origin. You might be cooking with something with that. Many of her relationships with other characters in the DCU had been somewhat underdeveloped. Specifically, her connections with other heroes and allies have been somewhat superficial. Give her more personal relationships with other DC characters like the Trinity and really convey the feeling that they're really good friends that care for one another instead of just acting like co-workers. Animation, surprisingly enough, is an area that features Wonder Woman in many projects but doesn't really focus on her solely as a character when it comes to her mythos. Wonder Woman to this day has never gotten a single animated show of any kind. There is no Wonder Woman the animated series akin to that of Batman and Superman the animated series in the DCAU. Batman and Superman have gotten plenty of DC animated movies over the years, especially Batman, but Wonder Woman had only gotten legit 2 animated movies, with one in 2009 and 2019.
See, now that's some bullshit.
The 2009 animated Wonder Woman movie, however, is definitely the best Wonder Woman movie we've gotten so far, which includes the DCEU movies as well.
You happy now, lady?
See, my child, is it not as I've always said? Here the true nature of man is laid bare. What other depraved thoughts must you be thinking?
God, your daughter's got a nice rack. Yeah, that brother's starving.
With that said, most of what we gotten with that character had been solid with her inclusion in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. She had a pretty cool role in the standalone animated movie Superman Batman Apocalypse. She has somewhat of a prominent role in the DCAMU, the DC animated movie universe based off of the New 52, but she only had one movie which was released pretty much when that universe ended. While it only lasted for a couple of movies, since that universe was inspired by the New 52, they incorporated bits and pieces of the Superman and Wonder Woman relationship, which I absolutely despise.
Do you ever feel alone?
Diana, of course I do, but I've learned a way to deal with it. I can show you.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
So it's not a matter of DC disrespecting the character or not respecting her lore, but more rather neglecting some of her more interesting aspects in TV and film. These mediums are the most recognizable versions of these characters, so when you don't delve into the intricacies of what makes these characters unique in TV or film, the general audience will be left with a surface level understanding of said character. And in the case of Wonder Woman, normies don't know much about her villains, supporting cast, Themyscira, and the Amazons themselves. She doesn't have a multitude of iconic stories to the degree of Batman or Superman. Like, what is her death of Superman or the Killing Joke moment / story that put the character on the map, you know? I can only hope for the best for the Wonder Woman game and James Gunn's DCU to finally do some justice to the character and let people know that she should not be slept on.